We were lucky enough to find a beautiful version of shashlik. It was from the Brighton Beach neighborhood of Brooklyn. That inspired us to go and look up recipes for shashlik. We've got Christie here, and she's going to show us a perfect, beautiful version of shashlik that we're making.
The published recipes that we found all had one thing in common, a really intense savory marinade. And it also had a lot of onion.
Really?
Lots of onion.
Okay.
Yes. So that's where we're starting. I have half a cup of coarsely chopped onion, a quarter cup of vegetable oil. I have 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. This gave us a really nice, tangy, vibrant marinade without making the meat mushy.
Okay.
And then some savory elements. I have 4 garlic cloves, a tablespoon of soy sauce, which is just going to give us some nice umami and depth, a tablespoon of kosher salt, and also a tablespoon of sugar, which is going to give us some nice balance, but it's also going to help to get us to that really good, dark, crusty outside that we're looking for with this.
Caramelization.
Char. Now for the spices. I have a teaspoon of earthy ground cumin and half a teaspoon of ground coriander. So a little bit of a citrusy flavor.
A little floral too.
Mm-hmm. And half a teaspoon of black pepper. And then I think the most interesting ingredients, we could definitely taste cinnamon and get a little heat from cayenne.
Interesting. Cinnamon.
Cinnamon. And I'm only using a quarter teaspoon of each. And then 1 bay leaf. Bay leaf is one of those things that if it's not there, you really miss it, but you're not quite sure what it's doing. Well, it's giving you some earthy flavor, it's giving some citrus flavor, and I just took 1 leaf and crumbled it up.
Okay.
So now I'm gonna get my top on, and I'm just gonna blend this until it's nice and smooth, about 30 seconds.
Okay.
You can really get those warm spices.
That's
you
my
smell them?
kind of smoothie. That smells amazing.
Now, this is the marinade, but we're also going to save 2 tablespoons of it and use it a little later. And I'm going to put the rest into a gallon Ziploc bag. So this is all ready to go. Shashlik is really a kebab, and when we make kebabs, we usually like to use steak tips because they're really, really beefy and inexpensive, and they have that kind of loose grain that will just sort of suck up and provide nooks and crannies for marinades.
Yes.
You're feeling it, right?
It's a flavor sponge.
Yes. So we like to start with the actual original cut, which is flat meat.
Flat meat, gotcha.
Yes. So I have 2 pounds of flat meat. I've already prepped some. I'm going to cut this one. If there's any kind of surface fat you'd want to get off, but this looks really good. So I'm just going to cut this into 1-inch pieces.
All right.
So that's all cut. Now I'm just going to put this into my bag.
I'll hold that open for you.
And I usually like to keep the bag in something, just in case there's spillage in the fridge.
Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Exactly. So I'm just going to squeeze all of the air out of the bag before I seal it. And then I'll kind of squeeze the bag a little bit so that I can make sure that all of the meat gets coated in the marinade. All right, that looks good. We're ready to go in the refrigerator for at least an hour or up to 2 hours.
All right.
Bridget, not all shashlik is served with a sauce, but we did come across one version that we really liked. It was really interesting. They used the sliced onions that had been in the marinade, and they caramelized them and then put them into a yogurt sauce.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do, except I'm starting with fresh onions. I have 1 onion that I've chopped fine, and I'm putting it into a cold skillet with 1/3 cup of water, 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil. And I'm going to use that 2 tablespoons of the reserved marinade. Now we are going to caramelize them, but first we're going to cook them. So I'm going to cover them, turn my heat to medium-high. So it's going to take 5 to 7 minutes, but I will go in and stir it around every once in a while.
Okay.
It's been about 6.5 minutes, so let's take a look.
Ooh.
All the water's gone.
Yeah.
The onions have softened and they're actually starting to brown now. Just going to give them a stir, and I'll turn my heat down to medium because now that they've started to brown, we want them to maintain that nice even browning, caramelization, not burning.
Right.
So I'm just going to let this cook uncovered now for 8 to 10 minutes until they're well browned. Bridget, it's been almost 10 minutes.
Where did they go?
It's almost onion jam at this point.
Yeah, they're really broken down and caramelized. Oh, you can smell the sugars.
They smell great. So this is the look that we want. I'm just going to transfer them to my bowl, try to get all the good stuff off the bottom. Now I'm adding 1/2 cup of plain whole milk yogurt, not Greek. It's a little too tight, a little too thick. So I'm also adding 1/3 cup of chopped fresh cilantro and 2 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice. I'll just stir that all together. Now there is salt in there from the marinade, but I'm just going to taste it to see if it needs anything else.
Okay.
Just going to do a little bit. It is time to skewer. So I have 6 wooden skewers that I've soaked in water for half an hour. Make sure they don't burn on the grill because it's going to be hot. So we're going to skewer the meat right on. We're not wiping off any of the marinade. That's why it was important that it be a little more paste-like than drippy.
So it'll cling to the meat. Got it.
And we want to pack these on really tightly so we don't have burning skewer tips.
I'm going to follow your lead.
So we have our job cut out for us. We're just going to finish skewering the meat, and then we're going to head out to the grill.
Sounds good.
So I've been heating the grill with all the burners on high for about 15 minutes. So it should be nice and toasty in there.
And hot.
So we'll just clean the grill. So we'll oil the grill and then get to it. All right, so I'm leaving my burners on high, and we'll pop these on. I'm gonna do this with my long tongs. Hear that sizzle?
That's a good sign.
It's a very good sign.
Oh, you're getting some of that aroma as soon as it hits the hot grill grate. It's gorgeous.
Now we'll keep it closed. This whole thing is gonna go really fast. I'm gonna go in and turn these every 2 to 3 minutes so we can get a nice even char all the way around. And we wanna make sure that we hit a higher temperature than we normally do. We're looking for 135 to 145.
Great.
Okay, I think it's probably time.
Oh, time to flip.
Ooh, yes,
That is some pretty color there.
that is a pretty color.
Oh, yeah, that's gorgeous.
That's what we're looking for, Bridget. I think we're ready for another turn.
All right.
Oh my goodness. So we were going to turn it 3 times all day. So we have 1 more left to do. I think we're ready.
Smells ready.
Oh, yes. This is really hot, so I'm gonna tempt this on the platter.
Very smart.
So we're looking for 135 to 145.
136.
Yeah, so we can take the rest of them off.
The smells almost caramelized onion smell. Oh, so good. The spices.
The great thing is that this is just about ready to eat. We're just gonna tin it with some foil to cover it. We wanna let it rest about 5 minutes, which is really just taking it inside. Bridget, we're rested. We're ready. Are you?
5 long minutes. That's all I'm going to say. Oh,
you go.
beautiful.
Don't forget some sauce.
Believe me, I won't. All right. Very tender. And the char is just unbelievable.
Great char on the outside. I love it.
A little bit of that beautiful yogurt sauce. Flavor explosion.
Really intense. I love the fresh cilantro in the sauce too. I feel like you get the tanginess from the sauce and then that fresh herb kind of hits you.
And the meat's cooked perfectly. It's not chewy at all. It's
Right.
really, really flavorful.
It's so intensely meaty. I think it would be delicious without the sauce, but I'd miss the sauce too.
Tangy, warm, complex, caramelized, char, beefy. I mean, it's an all-in-one.
I've never had anything that tasted like this before.
Me neither. There you go. You've got to make shashlik at home. And it all starts with a great marinade. Now use some of the mixture to marinate pieces of flat meat, then cook the rest of the mixture with onion until it's all browned. Stir the onions into yogurt to make a sauce, and then thread the beef onto skewers. Grill until it's all well charred, and then serve with that onion sauce. So from Cook's Country, the warm, spiced, and unexpected Shashlik-Style beef kebabs. I wonder if the other side tastes as good as this first side.
I
have to
think
find
it.
out.
I think it merits exploration.
Thanks for watching Cook's Country from America's Test Kitchen. So what'd you think?
Leave a comment and let us know which recipes you're excited to make, or just say hi.
Now you can find links to today's recipes and reviews in the video description.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
See you later.
Alligator.